Hey guys, how's it going? Srey here. I just want to go over the Heroes of the Storm PTR patch notes for February 6th, 2017, and kind of talk about my thoughts and maybe some insight on some of the changes and if they may be good or bad or what's the deal with them. So we have Lucio, new hero, and my first thoughts are that he's pretty good. I haven't played with him, but he looks pretty strong. And I'd say that there's a good chance that you'll see quite a lot of play, particularly this passive, this 20% movement speed buff, and the amount of healing that he gets passively in the speed boost is really, really strong because it can boost up to, I think, 45% movement speed, and it heals quite a lot as well. And both his heroics are also very strong. Okay, so for balance changes, Hinterland Blast finally got some kind of buff. So cooldown is reduced by 25 seconds for every enemy hero hit. So right now the cooldown is of course 120 seconds, and I've covered this before, but it hits about the same as Nova's Precision Strike. And Precision Strike is a global, and it's easier to hit, and it's a bigger AoE, and it's a 60-second cooldown. So it's half the cooldown, and it's pretty much better in every way. So Hinterland Blast is going to get significant cooldown reduction. So if you hit even two enemies, it's going to reduce the cooldown to 70 seconds, and if you hit three, it'll reduce it even further. So um, if you hit five enemies, you're going to get the dream, and you're going to have 125-second cooldown reduction, which basically gives you an instant refresh on Hinterland Blast. And I'm sure we'll see some cool plays of that and some clips on Reddit and stuff. But for the viability factor, if you miss it, it's really, really going to suck. I'd rather that they just reduce the cooldown instead of kind of adding this functionality, or at least reduce the cooldown to say like 100 seconds and then have the cooldown reduced by like 15 seconds per enemy hero hit or something. Just the flat cooldown reduction or the flat cooldown that it has right now of 120 really long. And you shouldn't be missing this ability, but it's really punishing if you do miss it. Especially if you, it's the difference between like no heroes and three heroes, for example, is really significant. 75-second difference. So Greymane finally got a change to his heroic, which was marked for the kill, and it's been renamed to Curse Bullet, and it functions completely differently. So for right now, I believe it marks the enemy and causes them to take more damage. And now they've reworked that ability a few times, and now they've just completely redone it again. So fires a bullet that hits the first hero in its path and deals 35% of their current health as damage, 30-second cooldown. So this is really, really strong, especially versus tanks or just as an opening engage. So 35% of its current health, right? So that means that if you're half health, it'll do half of 35%. But if you're full health, it'll do the full 35%, and that is a ton of damage, especially imagine you have a Tyrande and some kind of Tyrande mark. So let's say your ETC slides into Tyrande stun and mark, and then you use um, Cursed Bullet, that's going to chunk them for a huge amount. And even if you're just trading with the enemy team, and you just fire Cursed Bullet, that's a huge amount of damage, especially if you hit it on the tank. It lets you burn them really quickly. It's only a 30-second cooldown, and imagine the range is probably pretty decent. Gillian Roulette also got, is it Roulette or Roulette? I'm not sure. Also got a change. So basically, this was the upgrade for Mark for the Kill, and they've changed it so that it actually goes with this ability. So reduces the cooldown by 5 seconds per hero hit, and it hits all enemies in the path. I don't know how good this will be. I think you still go the cone auto attack damage at level 20, but I think this definitely has some viability. Ragnaros, they changed Resilient Flame, which basically, if you're hit by a stun, it gives you 50% damage resistance for 3 seconds, and now they have a 10-second internal cooldown, so it can only proc once every 10 seconds. I'm not sure if it's once 10 seconds after the 3-second delay, so that give you the full 10-second window, or if it's 10 seconds after it's been initially procced, which would be really a 7-second difference. The difference between that could be significant, but just the fact that he's not like permanently unkillable. If you're against like a Johanna, like her condemn procs procs the stun because her condemn is a 0.25-second stun, and that counts as stun and makes Rag really unkillable in some situations. So this is a good change. I'm not sure if it's enough. This will still be a really, really good talent, but it's a good start. Thrall got Earthquake and Sunder changes, so he can no longer be interrupted, or Earthquake will go off even if Thrall is interrupted during his cast animation. So right now, if you cast Earthquake or Sunder, there's a tiny bit of a cast time, but if you are interrupted during that cast time, it goes on a 10-second cooldown, and you're interrupted from casting it. So now it no longer goes on a 10-second cooldown. It'll go off anyway, but Thrall will still be stunned. So this is a really nice change because previously, if Thrall would run in an Earthquake in the middle of a fight and he gets silenced or something, you lose the fight because Thrall doesn't get Earthquake off, he doesn't heal, and the enemy team isn't slowed, and you just die. Same with Sunder. So this is a straight buff to Thrall. This is more competitive level, but also kind of quality of play level for less experienced players. So Valeera has been out. I haven't really played her that much because competitive patch was on 2 patches before, so we've been playing on Zul'jin patch for like quite a long time. So now Valeera's out and we get to play her a bit. My initial impressions are that she's good, uh, but for the kind of average player in Hero League especially and stuff, she definitely feels a little weak. And these changes basically go to that. So they buffed her attack damage a little bit. They buffed her health a little bit. Actually, it's almost 100 health here. This is 4 damage, not too significant. The big change here is, Ambush got a 10-second lower duration. They've actually reduced the damage on Garrett, so that's a nerf. Cloak of Shadows got a huge buff. I still don't know if it's valuable or not. And they kind of like buffed all these less picked talents a little bit. So she's a little bit better than when she was previously. Not that much better, but it's a nice little buff. Will no longer dismount Zul'jin when it is activated while mounted. No one even got Headhunter anyway. Okay, so these are actually really interesting changes. So you used to get banners at 13, and now they're switching these. So I used to think that these 16 talents were really, really strong, and they are really, really strong. But the more I've been playing Varian, the more I feel like this Banner of Ironforge is just like super OP. Gives your whole team 25% damage reduction for pretty much the entirety of a fight. If you place it in a good spot, the banner won't die, and it also kind of gives vision and acts as a ward. So I actually really like this talent, but I do think overall this is a buff to Varian. But not getting that banner until 16 will be a little bit worse. In solo queue and stuff, he's definitely gonna be better with these 16 talents at 13. But in competitive and really high coordinated play, it feels like it's a little bit of a nerf. Depends on the comps though. Like if you're against like a task or some kind of shield comp, Shattering Throw, you definitely want that earlier. If you're against some kind of like double support or high sustain comp, you want Mortal Strike earlier. Abathur got a little bit of a buff, so he hasn't really been seen play for a while. I actually still think that Abathur is really good. He just, for whatever reason, hasn't seen play. Probably just because of the heroes that have been played. So there's just a tiny bit of buffs to compensate for that. So Murky got a whole rework here. I'm not going to go through all these changes. They completely reworked his kit. I think they might have changed like every single talent almost. The core of his kit is the same. The big change to his kit is pufferfish. So it used to be 3 auto attacks from any kind of hero, and it would die. Now it has a health bar, and structures can attack it. So you can't just throw it under structures and run away. There's actually some kind of counterplay, so the structures can kill it and does reduce damage to structures as well. But in compensation for that, the explosion radius is increased by 50%. So this is just a kind of a quality of life kind of change. I think it's probably about the same overall, maybe a little bit better, maybe a little bit worse actually, because it just depends what kind of comp you're versus. It makes it more standard because you're against like a Tychus or something or Vikings or whatever. They're gonna be able to they'd hit the pufferfish 3 times in quick succession and kill the pufferfish instantly. But now pufferfish might just die to random AOE damage in fights. So I'm not sure how this will turn out. March of the Murlocs got a straight buff, increased the movement speed of the Murlocs, and reduced the cooldown. So this might actually be better than Octograb now because Octograb no longer it stopped I think when Murky's killed, or it got some kind of nerf in the past. And I think that March of the Murlocs might actually be the standard pick on Murky now. Maybe I call him Murky. He also got a pretty nice base health, max health increase. So this is actually a significant health increase. Very, very significant. So this will be feel a lot better to play. However, the thing that they nerfed here is that they did increase the spawn time from 5 to 8 seconds. Not too big, but that difference is still 3 seconds. That's a sizable percentage of his spawn time. It's like 60% increase. Okay, so I'm not going to go over all the talents, but some of these talents are pretty interesting. Activate to place a fake egg. If the fake egg dies, cast slime. I'm not sure how good that is. It's pretty trolly. But it also spawns you in stealth. So this one seems just completely broken. Killing an enemy minion with pufferfish grants 1 stack of bribe. That's incredibly easy to do because pufferfish does so much damage. You use 5 bribe stacks to capture a single mercenary camp. That seems broken. Like it takes 20 minion deaths to equal 1 stack, and now it only takes 5? That seems disgustingly broken. Like really, 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 really strong. This seems broken, completely broken. Like I can't overstate how stupid this talent is. Like he's gonna get like multiple bribe stacks off. He's gonna get at least one bribe stack off every wave. Like in 2 waves, he'll get like more than 2 stacks. That's ridiculous. Especially for a hero that just takes your camp and then dies because he'll just respawn in his base anyway. They also buffed some of these other talents and changed them, so a lot of changes here. The interesting ones are this auto attack one at level 7. So you can attack heroes and it stacks and slows their movement speed by up to 50% and it lasts for 5 seconds. He seems really, really insane. And at level 20, this one's pretty interesting as well. Murky's maximum health and egg respawn times are doubled. So there's also a talent where it grants a shield. So this one here, respawning from an egg grants Murky a shield equal to 100% of his max health, lasts indefinitely. So if you get this one plus this one, you're like quadrupling your health. So that's pretty insane. Your death timer is increased to like 15 seconds, but that's still really, really insane. 16 seconds. And then this one, you have, I can't remember how much health you have. I think you have like 6,000 health when you spawn as Murky or something ridiculous like that at level 20. Like that seems like really, really broken. Like really broken once you get level 20. And then this one's interesting. I don't know if it'll be actually any good, but March of the Murlocs can be channeled indefinitely. So previously it'd only be channeled for a few seconds, but now you can just stand there and channel this indefinitely until you are killed or interrupted. It sounds really, really OP, and it's going to be really OP probably at lower levels of play, but at higher levels you'll just be instantly killed and silenced or stunned or something. Okay, so overall, 100% this is a Murky buff. It's really good now. Nazebo got quality of life changes, so the targeting indicator is better for Plague of Toads, and Dead Rush got a little bit of a quality of life buff as well. Canceling Zombie Wall now also provide the 5 uprooted zombies, so now it doesn't have to last the full duration if you cancel it early. Quality of life change, Displacement Grenade now reveals an area as the grenade travels. This is an interesting change. I guess there might have been a problem with this. The crowd control basically reduces the cooldown of your W on Mirrodin by 0.75 seconds per enemy hit. So if you hit like more than 10 enemies or something, it would instantly refresh. So I guess they just didn't want that being abused. So they put a 7-second cooldown reduction on it. So the cooldown on the ability is 8 seconds, and now it's a 7-second cap. So basically, the most you can get is you can spam it on a 1-second cooldown instead of instantly. Just icon changes. Zarya got a indicator, so this helps kind of just quality of life change, and that's pretty much it. A bunch of bug fixes, nothing too interesting from what I saw when I went over it. But that's pretty much all the changes. So we have Falstad buff, pretty interesting. Greymane buff is nice. Rag got nerfed. Thrall got buffed. Valeera got buffed. Varian got buffed, I would say. Some tiny Abathur buffs, and then a huge Murky buff. So I don't expect these changes to change too much. They might change some of these insane Murky talents, but aside from that, I don't think you'll see too much than what's going on live right now. Okay, guys, I will talk to you later. See ya.